The video today is sort of an inquiry from those who might be on YouTube and see this. The song that I'm referring to is not really something that Marjoe Gortner recorded himself. I've heard it on the radio a couple of times in the last 6 months, and I still don't know who did it. I don't know the name of the song. What I want to do is hum a couple of sections of it, and maybe somebody might recognize it. But when I hear it, I always think of Marjoe Gortner. And before I do this, let me just give you an overview of why I'm doing this video. The first time I ever saw the actor, it was in the 1974 movie Earthquake, and that starred Charlton Heston, Ava Gardner, and George Kennedy, amongst other people. I know that Lauren Green was in it. And I had never seen or even heard of him before I saw Earthquake. And since that time, I've watched a couple of other films he made. He did a film called The Survivor, and it had to do with him being in the military, and he hunts down this dude that wanted to get his money out of the bank during I guess a nuclear war that took place. So he goes after him, and in classic Marjoe Gortner fashion, he ends up being killed at the end. Somebody slices his neck off to a point. And anyway, I finally got a chance to see this movie that was made about him. It was a documentary. And I found out that he was actually a child prodigy. He was actually originally at the age of 4 years old, he was a preacher, and he evangelized. And as he got older, I guess people started filming him doing these various things in these these camp meetings and other kinds of evangelical missions and so forth. And the whole thing was a scam. It's just like Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker and all these other people, that they take your money, but they don't use it for what they intended it for. They say it was going towards helping God and, for the advancement of the gospel, and all he was doing was pocketing most of the money himself. And you know what? He was not the only one who was doing that. There were other people with him during these camp town meetings and revivals is what they were. And so anyway, when I saw that, I kept trying to find sermons of his on the internet, but I never did find any. And I know pretty much the reason he went into acting is probably because once they found out that he was conning people, he had to figure out how can I make a living now that I cannot take their money like I've been doing in these revivals. Now, the question I have is how come he was never convicted of these crimes? Because once he admitted that he was doing that, apparently he never had to face charges. He never had to face those who he had conned out of all their money. And so in a nutshell, I'm not so much fascinated with him, except that I'd like to have heard some of his early sermons about was he really called? Did he preach the word, or it was just people saw how young he was and that he had a call to be a preacher at a young age, and so that's what drew them in to his work as far as him preaching and so forth, because he continued it into his adult life. And then he said, one day I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. In other words, a guilt complex hit Marjoe Gortner, and he realized, I'm ripping off people here. I'm not really helping anybody. I'm helping myself. And if you guys want to see what happened to him, the name of that documentary is just simply called Marjoe. And it's an eye-opener about how people, even 40 years ago, were ripping off those in the church who were really giving money towards helping what they thought was the advancement of the gospel. And in reality, these people were taking like 80% of all the money taken in from these revivals, and they just pocketed the money themselves. It's really a travesty. Now that I've shared with you about my interest in this, I'm going to try and hum a couple of bars of this. Don't think that I know even the lyrics. I don't. Because when I've heard this on the radio, it's the music that caught my attention and not the words that they were singing. It goes like, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Anyway, that's as much of the song that I've heard. And it's kind of like they're singing, I get away, or it's, I'll find a way to get away, or something like that. I can't say what the lyrics are, though. But every time I hear that song, and it's been made here right now in 2014, sometime between June or July or August. It's one of these pop female artists, and I can't say who did it, but I always think of Marjoe Gortner when I hear that song, and I guess it's because of that first time I saw him in Earthquake. And so I just decided, well, this is interesting to me, and maybe somebody else who's known about Marjoe Gortner might have heard this song and thought the same thing. Maybe some other people might find this interesting. But I can tell you from my experience of reading up on Marjoe Gortner that to find out what he was originally and how he ended up having to go to something like acting. I mean, they didn't say in the documentary, did he have any acting experience? Did he have any actual schooling where he went to some sort of an arts or sciences university to learn acting skills? And basically I'd say probably no, because he learned on the pulpit probably how to convey himself to his audience. So when he found himself without any means of support, he decided, okay, I'm just going to go into acting. So that's what he's been doing since. So, if Marjoe even hears this, I would love to find some of your child recordings of the sermons you did. So if Marjoe ever hears this recording, this video, I'd like to find something of your material. That way I could prove to myself whether or not were people suckered in, or was there really some message you were trying to convey about the Bible at that time in your life? Because you might have conned people later on, but I'm sure there was something there that God was using to reach people's hearts in the beginning. So thank you all for listening to the video today, and I guarantee you YouTube will probably say me humming those bars of that song, which I can't even tell you what it is. It's probably a copyright, but I did it because I wanted to share about my interest in Marjoe Gortner. So thank you all, and come back soon to watch other videos, I hope.